Can I get a thumbs up if I'm coming through fine? Just trying out a new setup here, so I want to make sure the audio is all good. Tank, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. It's a pretty good day down here in Florida. It's nice, sunny. The water in the ocean was perfect. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I saw you made a post you're homeschooling your kids. I was homeschooled through a lot of my youth.
Yeah, it's our second year. Really enjoy it. It was it's got its challenges, but again, at the same time, I'm able to be down here in Florida and enjoying it with my boys while we still stay caught up with school requirements. So it's nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I did like distance education. It was like just like mail everything in because I live kind of remote. But I guess it's probably you guys probably move around a lot, right? I think you guys are always bouncing between Nashville and Florida.
Yeah, we definitely do, but it's a little different. And you don't have to get into the details. Tennessee's a lot nicer to where up into a pretty good age, there's no real need to actually mail anything in as long as you pass the end of the year test. They're fine. And I think that's just for like accredited courses and whatnot. So we don't do that. We did it before, and this is a little bit easier. So yeah, but it's nice.
That's cool. Yeah, it gives flexibility. I remember I used to like finish the school year in like a few months ahead of everyone else, like because you kind of go at your own pace, and you just have this like huge summer. It's good for like family travel and stuff.
Oh, the bad thing is I always try to get my kids going at 8:00. Try to stick to somewhat of a similar like all the other kids. Yeah, they get started at 8, right? And I'm like, I gave them enough work. It's like 8 courses or 8 subjects, and there's enough work there to definitely, if they're taking their time to go about 4 or 5 hours, they'll get done in like 2 hours, and they're like, I'm done. Let's just go do whatever now. And I'm like, I still have to do a bunch of stuff. So I was hoping you would take your time. But it is.
Yeah, I guess.
They love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I never considered it from the parent perspective. But I'm just waiting for Archer to join with GoodFellas. So I'm just trying to send him a message here. In the meantime, just give me 1 sec. I'll send him a message and we'll kind of get the space started in just a minute or so. If everyone can retweet it, share it in any Telegram groups, things like that, much appreciated. Let's get a good crowd in. Today we're going to talk about the GoodFellas launch tomorrow, as well as NFT Nashville. So these are the 2 features for this week. We'll also do a few updates on Stargaze. All right. So I'll just start with just a few updates from the Stargaze side. Let me take a look at my notes here. So just a few things. There's a Celestia upgrade, which allows one-click buy in TIA. That's pretty neat for Celestia, and could be something that's integrated in Stargaze eventually as well. We have a cool front-end update with displaying the floor price based on traits. So when you go and view an NFT, you can take a look at the traits and see how those are displayed across the marketplace. That's pretty cool for collections that, when you have specific, rare traits, whether that's like a crown or something else. So hopefully that kind of improves quality of life for users when they're thinking about listing their stuff. We did a NFT and gaming space on Tuesday. So we had Gelato, we had Deployed on, we had Atlas DAO on there, as well as Pixel Wizards. That was a pretty good conversation. Just kind of overview of the experience of, independent developers doing stuff with NFTs. Oh, echo now. Please give me 1 second. So yeah, please listen back to that space. Let's see if my echo's fixed. Okay, 1 sec. All right, Tank, are you hearing any echo from me right now?
No, it's better.
Am I clear? Good.
Yeah, it's better now.
Perfect. Thank you. So we still don't have GoodFellas here, but that's fine. We can talk a little bit about NFT Nashville first. So Tank, why don't you go over what's going on with this conference?
Yeah, same thing as before. Well, actually, I assume everybody that's in the Stargaze community was probably aware of the efforts of last year. So I was just kind of lead off with that assumption. I should probably go back and kind of explain what the effort is and what we're trying to do. At first, I just want to say before I do that, I thought you guys did a wonderful job, and several other community members did a wonderful job posting exactly what NFT Nashville was and is. First off, last year was our first event that we held for NFT Nashville, and this was totally community-driven and grassroots-oriented effort into getting more exposure for NFTs, not just within the Cosmos ecosystem, but specifically for the Cosmos ecosystem. But we were looking even beyond that. But we wanted to bring more exposure to what we were doing with NFTs in this space, where we thought it was going. And we thought the best way to do that is obviously from the ground up with the rest of the community that's actually doing it. So we held a small event in comparison to some other events and conferences that are in our ecosystem last year of about 70 people, 70, 75 people, give or take, in Franklin, Tennessee. And it was a wonderful show. We had so many different guests that were builders or, even we had Shane from Stargaze. Excuse me, I'm looking at something on the ground here that I'm wondering what that is. When you have kids, you wonder what that sticky mark is on the ground. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. So we had many different speakers last year. We talked about many different topics. Obviously, one of the biggest topics was how do we expand and get the word out on what we're doing with NFTs, whether it was just, collectors, artists, or even NFT-fi, as we call it now, when we are incorporating NFTs into DeFi. But our main topic was how do we get out, right? How do we get out to the people that are not in our immediate circle or immediate bubble that we usually talk to? And we saw a lot of actual good adoption with that. We had a lot of people that, I don't know if you guys noticed that, I noticed it being the person that was putting it on, that had no idea what NFTs were and that were coming. I had several doctors from the space come and drop in and were asking, what this was all about. And so I thought we did a really good job with what we did last year. And now that it's 2024, Joe and I wanted to expand on our efforts and make it a bigger, better event. And now we're, again, doing it in the next couple of weeks. And we're going to be doing it again in Franklin, but just at a bigger venue with even better speakers and a better capability. So yeah, that's the general gist. I'm sorry, I rambled a little bit. That's the general gist and idea of NFT Nashville. It's just to kind of get more eyes and the word out on what's going on with NFTs, specifically within the Cosmos ecosystem, but much, much further than that, right?
Yeah, that's cool. And the one last year, it was a really neat conference for like really being grassroots, coming out of like you guys as kind of community members and a bunch of other people being involved. I didn't attend personally, but it was one of the conferences where I think I got added to the Telegram group of like people running around, around the event. And I was like, oh man, I guess serious FOMO here. So it's cool to see you doing it again. I was wondering, when you're talking about new speakers and wider audiences, is there anything you guys are focusing on like topic wise this year that's different from last year, or any other stuff that you're trying to expand to?
Yeah. So I actually have the agenda here. And it's, again, not in any particular order. So the lineup of this agenda could actually change, but I can actually share it with you if you'd like. I don't have to go into like deep details of it, but I can kind of give you the, high overview of what we're going to be talking about if you'd like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. So of course, the first topic that I have as it is right now is the evolution of NFTs. So we'll talk about that for about 30 to 45 minutes. And then the second discussion is going to be about the future of NFTs in the metaverse. That is, we're seeing a lot of that movement happening, especially in the Cosmos ecosystem, but, with like Passage or Strange Cloud. And then we're also seeing Stargaze projects like Chilled Walkers, expand out what they're doing in the metaverse. And there's several other ones as well. So we're going to be talking about that. And we have invited a couple of speakers that you guys may be familiar with, but I don't want to actually put anything out there just too much because I don't want to, if it doesn't happen, like, let people down. But we do have some interesting speakers for that. The next one is going to be, the topic is called the intersection of NFTs and traditional art. So that's more or less for our traditional artists or people who are putting out, traditional art or maybe even music as well. It doesn't have to be, pen or paper or even paintbrush. I know you used to cover quite a bit of that. Do you still do that space, by the way? I used to like that space. Classic, was it classic art or something? Or
with the Friday space? Yeah, do it every Friday.
Yeah. But anyway, so we'll be doing that. And then we'll be talking about NFTs and intellectual property, NFTs, utilities beyond art, and the sustainability of NFTs in comparison to other things that are out there, maybe like traditional tokens and whatnot. So yeah, that's the basic lineup. And then we have special agendas or special topics from our sponsors that they would like to actually address the crowd with. So yeah.
And within those topics, anything that you're particularly excited about? Or is it you're too busy organizing everything?
Yeah, I've looked at it so many times. I will give you the vanilla answer, which is very honest. But I'm excited about all of them. Like the speakers that we have on the panels or individually, right? Some of these won't be panels, but the speakers that we have talking about this and going over these topics are ones that I like. I could listen to them anyway, even to rant about anything that they wanted to rant about. So really honing them in on these topics in particular are getting me really, really excited in general. But the one that I'm really, really excited about is the sustainability part, and then also NFTs and intellectual property. I don't know why, but that really, like, there's so many rabbit holes in my mind that I could go down with that, and it could always like bring you into like many other little rabbit holes when you're talking about that and possibilities. So I'm really excited about those two, but I'm sure all of them are going to be great.
That's awesome. And yeah, I think IP and NFTs is extremely interesting. I know that's a topic that Archer's really into as well. So we'll get into it probably a little bit when he's talking about the GoodFellas launch for Siren Syndicate. But I also wanted to ask Tank, so for the NFTs that are launching Friday, can you walk us through a little bit like what these are? So these are the tickets for the event. What does that entail for people that are going to mint?
Yeah. I'll give you the real generic vanilla one. I know Joe actually wanted me to reserve some of the talk for him. He's going to be joining us hopefully here in about 2:30, so that's like 15 minutes if we're still going, hopefully. But yeah, the tickets, there's several different ways that you can buy tickets, right? We want it to be accessible to anybody, no matter like what your preference was. We know and we absolutely love Stargaze, and we know that we have a strong community with the Stargaze community. So obviously we wanted to incorporate a way directly with the Stargaze platform on how people can get tickets. And the NFT Nashville 2024 ticket is that, right? You can buy using USDC and then you can mint it for $75. That is the really, again, I don't know how to say all of this without letting the cat out of the bag and Joe getting mad at me. To me, that's the way that I would like to see a lot of people buy the tickets. There's also tickets, though, being offered through OmniFlix, the same way that we did it last year, where they helped us get our Stripe account. So if you want to use your credit card or your bank card and buy it with USD, you can do that. And or if you have Atom, you could also connect your Keplr wallet and buy your ticket using Atom as well. All of these different ways that you buy the ticket for entry for that day are going to give you the exact same perk. The one for NFT Nashville on Stargaze, though, is going to probably give you a little extra perk that we have more control over the long haul and over the life of holding that NFT. You do get an NFT badge or NFT through OmniFlix when you purchase it using that route. So I definitely encourage people, like, hey, maybe you want to buy one on using that platform, or you want to use one and buy another one on Stargaze. The choices are yours. But I do know that using the option with Stargaze is going to allow us to do a lot more fun things and collabs and I dare say give backs over the years, because we plan to do this every year. This we want to do this and grow this into being something much, much more bigger in the future. But yeah, with that being said, I'll try not to speak too much on it. I know Joe has a lot of thoughts and ideas and cool things he wants to talk about.
Cool. Yeah. We'll get him in later. Yeah. And I think this is maybe the first use of it's the first use of the limited edition minter, I believe, for ticketing. So I think that's a pretty cool example of, creative use of Stargaze features.
Yeah. I was going to ask you if it was. I know Joe said it to me and I wasn't sure if this is the first time that a ticket for an event, a live event, is being sold on Stargaze.
I believe so. I know that there's been open editions launched that maybe it's like a membership thing that, says that you have XYZ perks. But I think this is the first one that's very specifically like tickets for an event.
We're breaking into Ticketmasters. We're pushing boundaries.
Oh, if there's any, organization or any corporation that needs to be disrupted, it's Ticketmaster.
It's Ticketmaster.
Yeah, so no, it's really cool. And I think last year, actually, I bought a ticket to the previous one. And I think it was, I didn't end up buying it on chain. I think you had an off chain option. And then it was, I wasn't able to attend. So I gave it away to someone else. But it was like, maybe I'm just too deep in Web3, but it was kind of a pain to like organize to send it over to them or whatever. Whereas in this case, if anyone happens to mint and then they want to resell it or send to someone else, it can be very easy to do that within Stargaze. But maybe we'll get back to that maybe later when Joe joins. Archer, how are you doing?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Having a nice week so far, and pretty excited to hear about Siren Syndicate, your collection that's launching on Stargaze. So maybe you want to give a brief overview, and then we can kind of bounce back and forth with some more discussion.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to kind of bounce in and out of Discord and listen and participate all at the same time. So forgive me if I'm a bit distracted. If we've got if there are any Stargaze wizards on this particular spaces that can jump into our Discord. I know there's a couple people who are having issues with the Mint page. They said that they're just getting some spinning happening. So if maybe some of you guys could jump in there and just add support to the Solana folks who aren't really familiar, I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. So Siren Syndicate, this is female form for GoodFellas NFT. We're stoked to be on Stargaze as part of the grant program from Adam Foundation. And we've put together a drop that's going to be 210 pieces. It's about 50% sold out, 18 minutes in. And basically the way that we're doing this is we're leveraging two different Stargaze technologies from the Mint, because one of the things that we enjoy doing is starting small and building into a larger collection. This allows us to avoid market distortions, like all the hype that we see, the sort of the bad actors, the influencers that kind of push people into a thing, and the degeneracy. And so basically we're putting out 210 pieces, and this first mint is going to leverage the side that would normally be combined on the Solana technology, whereby we could mint a collection and then ultimately append to it over time. So we've been doing batch mints of 100 pieces at a time. This is something that we kind of innovated on Solana rather than dropping, 5 or 10,000 pieces all at once and just hoping something sticks. So this first mint that we're doing today is a combination of 3 different prints that are actually in line with the collection. So when you see the artwork, it's available now. You can actually see that it does contain and relate to the pieces, so they would seamlessly fit into what we're doing artistically. But these have a little Stargaze theme, actually Star Wars theme. We're kind of playing on that. There's 3 individual numbered prints, 70 of each, totaling 210. Each of the 70 prints is numbered in the upper right-hand corner. So just like if you went to an art gallery and you were, purchasing prints from an artist or someone who was actually selling artwork in the real world, you would want to know that you didn't have just necessarily something that ran off a copy machine, but that you had something that was uniquely yours. And the way that you connote that is there would be a print number on that physical piece. So what we do on prints, we don't, instead of calling them editions, we actually put a generative process in place and put numbers in the upper right-hand corner so that everyone knows that the piece that they have is individually marked in theirs. It would technically make that piece a one of one. And what we find is that people tend to enjoy collecting specific numbers of prints, and it just adds a little bit to the gamification piece. So it's a little bit more fun to do it that way. And then in addition to those 210 mints, we're leveraging the one of one minter because it creates a situation where we have an appendable NFT collection. And so if you mint one of the prints, then we're going to drop you one of the actual NFTs from the collection, from the proper collection. And then basically the way it's working is you mint 1, you get 2. And that's kind of the way that we're rolling with this, to kind of play with the technology and see what we could do to pull the use cases out of the technology, even though we're leveraging 2 different sides of the platform. So at the highest level, that's what we're doing technically today.
So for the people that mint this the collection that's on the featured spot, they'll receive an edition, and then they'll also receive a drop of this collection you're launching with the one of one minter. And I guess for that one with the one of one, since you want it appendable, you have some plans to expand that collection over time.
Yeah, exactly. So depending on the reception, depending on how things go, this is our first foray into Stargaze, and honestly, we've been pretty impressed with the way things have gone so far. Brady, you've obviously given us a tremendous amount of support. The Stargaze team has given us a tremendous amount of support. And what I'm finding personally, when I just sort of, look at the marketplace, for analogies, I'm seeing a little bit less degeneracy on this side of the world, of the NFT world. And that's something that I'm really, fond of making sure that we don't engage in, right? Because at the end of the day, you guys were talking a little bit about IP, if I, kind of heard you correctly. What we want is people who are going to value the IP, and that is the absolute opposite of degeneracy. So, we're looking for collectors who actually want to hold beautiful pieces of art and build a portfolio over time that we can then leverage in terms of IP in other uses, whether it's Web 2 or Web 3, but that IP is something that we want to be able to own and control, and then obviously extend those rights to any of our collectors. And so when you look at the artwork that's put together, and there's a few pieces up. The main collection is in testnet, but we'll drop that live probably later today, early tomorrow. You'll start looking at the artwork and you see a great deal of detail and a great deal of, theory, color theory, and just a lot of planning that went into creating the collection. It kind of makes sense when I start talking about what quality is for us and what we're looking for. And these are the things that, as a collector myself, that I really enjoy, having in my wallet and holding and keeping for long periods of time. So basically, the extension of our value system is showing up in our art. So everything that we do from top to bottom, it needs to be high quality. It needs to be well done. It needs, we need to make sure that we're taking care of people. We need to make sure that the artists are getting what they need to get. A lot of artists that we work with have been screwed and stolen from. So when we're working with our artists or working with our community, we have agreements in place that ensure that both sides of the transaction are taken care of. And these are just the way that we feel like, business should be built and done. Everything should be above board. Everything should be documented. And that way everyone knows where they stand. So, at the highest level, we're building an IP rights-based business in the Web3 sphere. And that sort of manifests itself in the agreements that we're making with people, some of the artists that we're derugging and actually helping them get paid from future mints, and in the artwork and the quality of the processes that we're putting together behind the scenes. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. I know my brain's a little scattered right now.
Yeah, you got the mint launch, overload, all the synapses firing, and for anybody, I just want to say, if anybody has questions, feel free, please reply with some questions. Later on, we'll get people up if they want to speak, and we can have a little bit more of a loose conversation, maybe in 30 minutes or so. But in the meantime, feel free. You and I have talked a lot, so I think I know a lot about your project now. So there might be some questions I'm missing. So everybody, feel free to ask questions. Just going back to what you're saying with artists that have been screwed over and so on, I think that you guys had your start with like kind of taking over and reviving a rugged project. And I think you may work with artists specifically that had previously kind of lost out on commission deals that they'd done. So I wonder if you wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Happy to. When, like I was kind of on my soapbox diatribe earlier, talking about how these guys have been screwed, ultimately what I find in this market is just a tremendous amount of opacity. We talked about this the other day when we got on a video call, and I'm like, oh, you are a real boy. I can see your face. These types of things that would be, traditionally just taken for granted, in this space seem to be the exception rather than the rule. And if you don't know a person, you don't have any legal ties or agreements with a person, then there's really no way of injecting responsibility or accountability into what it is that you're doing. And so the initial artwork that we released on the mail form side of things came from a project that was rugged called Art of Mob. And the artist that had created that artwork basically had made a handshake agreement with the founders, and I use that term loosely, that he would receive a percentage of mint funds. The collection minted out, but what the guy did was at the last minute, they had promoted it was going to mint for like 25 SOL. And then at the last minute, the guy dropped the price to 0. So of course, any percentage of 0 is 0. So the artist did all this work and got nothing. And then of course, these free mint projects tend to not have any legs. And of course, this one was the same thing. The artwork was beautiful. The idea was not. And so we went in and we located the artist, and we were actually able to identify the person behind it. And, we sent him paperwork and actually licensed the IP rights from him exclusively to us, which grants us extensibility to our holders. And so in the in the scheme of things, like the big challenge here is the opacity of the market, not necessarily the difficulty of doing the thing. It's very difficult to locate the right actors and to have them identify themselves, especially in legal documentation when it comes time to, have them understand that there will be a certain amount of responsibility and accountability associated with what we're doing. So, at the highest level, we just want to make sure that everything we're building has a solid foundation, because, where we are in the marketplace right now of Web3 is extreme infancy. I mean, we're playing with some technologies, we're playing with some ideas, but UI still has a long way to go. We haven't really onboarded, any of the mass populace. It's all basically all of us, nerdy, early adopters, and it's fun to be a tech person and show this other tech person what's possible with the technology, but the end user doesn't care about that. So we have a long way to go to onboard new people. And we feel like right now is the time, to build that base, to get that solid foundation, so that as the market matures and as legality enters the marketplace and as people start making more agreements, we're already ahead of that curve and ready to continue to build. We don't have to stop operations, sort of tear everything down, go back and redo. It's all ready to rock. So, at the highest level around the philosophy of what we're building, the foundation has to be there, the value system has to be there, and we think that sticking to that, no matter what, is the most valuable thing that we can do. So, today's mint right now, we have, like I said, 210 pieces. 110 of them are gone right now. But you know what? If I wake up tomorrow and there's still, 100 pieces to mint, I'm okay with that. So long as the people who've minted, so long as we did a good job of identifying the people who minted and wanted to honor the pieces and honor the IP. And if we've done that, we've done our job. So, I mean, that's kind of how we look at it, from a systems and execution standpoint.
Wow, you're at 50% already.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. That's quite good on just halfway through a space here. And I wanted to ask on that. So, you have an existing community on Solana. I think we have someone from Stargaze heading over to try and help out if there's any questions in the Discord. Otherwise, I'll try and help after this space. But so thanks for mentioning that. But how's it been with that, communicating to your community about launching on a new chain? Either, technical stuff, we all know that's challenging, but, otherwise, in terms of messaging about your project and your goals.
Honestly, the idea to go multi-chain has been fairly easy to embrace, I would say, just simply because right now a lot of the alpha is, everything is multi-chain. The future is multi-chain. We hear this a lot. I feel like it's time to, call up Sticker Mule and have some bumper stickers made up that say, the future is multi-chain. And, like the half of 1% of people who know what I mean will maybe get a laugh out of that. But, most of the people in the community, they stay in touch with what's happening in the marketplace. And they were very open to the idea. I'll say that the biggest challenge has just been getting them accustomed to, a new wallet. The way the Cosmos ecosystem works is very different from the way the Solana ecosystem works. So there's been some challenges with, understanding how the chains interact with one another and moving tokens from this chain to that chain. Because, a lot of times when we're in Phantom, it's just a little bit smoother UI right now. And ultimately, I think, obviously Leap or Kepler will get there. But the user experience has just been a little bit of a challenge. So, but the idea of doing the multi-chain thing, very easy to sell. Because we're primarily artwork first, IP rights based, and we're pushing the idea of collecting. Now, we have obviously utilities that we want to build into the future, but we're not making that our USP right now. These guys don't really care or don't seem to mind what chain that they're collecting on. And I think that for a lot of us, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to jump into a new chain and see how it works and explore a little bit. I think everyone in the space right now, if you're here in the infancy of the space, you've got a little bit of that adventuresome spirit within you, and it kind of touches on that and makes it part of the game. It's just like going to the next level. You've got that, you've got a little bit more of a challenge every time you switch chains. You got to learn something, you got to do something different. So it kind of keeps you guessing and engaged.
And how's it been on the engagement and relationship building front, with the existing Stargaze community, whether that's projects you're talking to or individuals?
In my experience, I haven't been surrounded by a better group. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, if you know me in real life, I'm a super honest person, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking, no matter if it hurts your feelings. And the truth is, a lot of the guys here have been super supportive. Yourself, the Stargaze team, Tony, a lot of the guys in all of the spaces have been jumping in too. They've been first to offer up support. I just looked at the Discord timeline right now. There's like 4 people who are saying, hey, I'm happy to help as needed. These are the types of things that when you're in a space of degeneracy and selfishness that you just don't see. And so for me, coming from, in the real world, being a mindset and performance coach, when we're talking about creating win-win relationships, we're talking about long-term value proposition, we're talking about doing the work to reap the reward. I see the people here doing this. I had a good conversation with a fella from Snails the other day. We got on a video call and he's telling me what he's doing. And, offered up all kinds of support, offered up some educational materials. Obviously, that's what they do. And the truth is, man, I don't think it could have been any better. I don't know how many times I bugged you on the weekend trying to get you to help me do stuff where I was completely lost getting all this stuff set up. So, I've got nothing but high praise for the community as a whole.
Yeah, I'm going to miss our Sunday calls.
I doubt that.
No, it's been good. It's been great onboarding. We're helping you guys out, and you guys have been really gracious the whole time as well, which is much appreciated. Sometimes people come through and are demanding and stuff, but I think that you guys are very much straight shooters, which is awesome. Joe, I sent you an invite. I'm not sure if you received it, but you're welcome to hop up here. I see you're sitting in the audience, so I'll send you another one. Wanted to throw just for a second, do you guys have any questions for each other? Tank and Archer. I wonder, Tank, if you had any questions for Archer, listening to him.
Yeah. How can I get on the white list? I want to mint one.
Hey, brother. How you doing? Just shoot a message over to Alex. He's on the GoodFellas handle right there, and he'll throw you on there, man. Not a problem.
I'm doing it. No, we're just kind of geeking out, doing stuff in the background. No, but I absolutely love it, man. And he's, spot on. He's being honest. I know it from firsthand. Brady and the rest of the Stargaze team. Dude, I love listening to new people come to Stargaze, and it's always the same thing. You feel like you would kind of get used to it, but it's so refreshing to always hear everybody say the same praises or the same thing when they're getting introduced to the people that are here and onboarding and helping them out. It's just so wonderful to hear that. I'm glad you had a good experience, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Again, that is, in the marketplace as opaque as this one, where there seems to be people stepping all over themselves to get front of line and whatever the thing may be. It really is a special thing. I don't have the words to express that. It's kind of one of those ideas that for me right now is quite ineffable. But on some level, everyone here who's participated in that, Maria, I see Joe has his hand raised. Jump into the Discord, help people out, man. I know you're already a holder with us, but at the end of the day, you just can't say enough good things about a group of people who understand that there's something out there that's bigger than themselves, and that's what we're here doing. And as early as we are in the space, supporting one another to the best of our ability, whether it's financially, whether it's sharing a tweet, whether it's minting. Whatever the thing is, these are the types of things that just feel good to be around. And that is a contagious sort of a spirit. And I just love seeing it expand.
Yeah, I think the same can be kind of said for NFT Nashville in terms of it being something where the community really came together around it. Joe's giving a thumbs down. No, he's giving a thumbs Joe's all thumbs over there. But Joe, how are you doing, man? You hopped up. Like I said, NFT Nashville last year was super organic. I missed it. And probably a conference that I'm not a big conference guy, but that was one that I really, really regretted not attending. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I just got off the train from work, but I didn't want to miss this. Before I show Nashville, I want to say, for people that don't know, I've been involved with Archer and the original, it's now GoodFellas, but it was called something else. I was part of that rug. And I actually had a couple of expensive NFTs in that collection. That was my first taste of Solana, but I plan on minting the collection today, especially, Maria is one of the artists. She and I go way back. So yeah, I like the whole idea of building something with a solid foundation rather than just taking other people's money and just not knowing what you're doing, putting everyone else at risk while you just sell NFTs. I like when teams are taking like this slow and transparent approach, and I think that that's going to be the key for these projects is lasting way longer than they normally do.
Yeah, it's refreshing, and I think that small mint, slow build mentality is really cool.
Not only that,
Joe,
I don't know if he talked about this before I get to Nashville. He made me interview to buy one of the NFTs when they were first coming out of the rug. So it was like an inscription on Bitcoin. They had to get a special address to mint, and he made me do a Zoom call just to make sure that I wasn't trying to just come in, make a whole bunch of money, thinking I was going to flip these things and then exit. So I appreciated that. And I actually,
can you actually pass the interview?
oh yeah, easily. So the first question was, how do you spell NFTs? And I'm like, oh, I got that.
Yeah. They got you on the skill testing question at the end, though, right? The multiple choice.
They made me draw an NFT, and I was like, all right, hopefully the multiple choice is counting for more than this. But anyway, yeah, no, I really I still hold those, and I'm going to mint that collection today. Hopefully, get these guys involved in NFT Nashville somehow. And I actually wanted to not only talk about the tickets, which are on sale now, but the NFT version of the tickets will go on sale tomorrow. You'll see a couple get minted off the whitelist just because we owe some airdrops to Cutes. But I want to, now that there's basically like the main Stargaze regulars in this space, I'm going to be contacting artists, hopefully not having to track down that many, to get involved cost-free by supplying some art for the tickets. I'm going to come up with specs, and anyone who mints the Stargaze NFT version of the ticket, that art is going to be replaced by a random one-of-one from various artists, not only Stargaze artists, but anyone that I can get a hold of. So I'm going to be asking, people to just supply something that fits the theme. I'll come up with specs. If you're interested and you don't hear from me, just please reach out. It's hard for me to keep track of all this stuff and also handle the files that'll be coming in. But I just want to make sure that this year for NFT Nashville, there's even more of a focus on the actual creators in the space, the artists, the builders, and all that. So people will get a nice souvenir, whether they come or not. They buy a ticket, they're going to get an airdrop of, an art. The art will be replaced. It'll be like a reveal with some one-of-one art from hopefully an artist that you know.
So this collection, the tickets themselves will turn into this like one-of-one collection. I guess you'll do the reveal at the event or something.
Yeah, or the week of. Last year, we learned the hard way. We tried to have too many things come together at the last minute. So maybe we'll do this ahead of time, and then there'll be a little bit more build up to the side event, which is Friday night. I'll have details for that as soon as I officially book one of 3 venues that I'm looking at. The main day is Saturday, which is what the tickets will be used for. And there'll be like a POP NFT as well. People can come, get souvenirs. Tank is setting up the merch. The merch last year was really good. So only people that buy tickets will get merch from the actual event for coming.
Yeah, yep. I wanted to actually kind of elaborate on that a little bit more. I just recently had announced it. I forget which space. Maybe it was when we were all talking. I don't know. We do a lot of space. Anyway, I told everybody I recently just opened it up to the public in the factory. If you guys don't know, and I don't know why you guys would, so I don't know why I'm even saying that. But where the event is going to be held is a very up-and-coming location. It's a very busy and attractive location. It's going to be specifically in the factory of Franklin in a renovated space called Turner Hall. Near that is at the same time is going to be the Franklin Farmers Market, which always brings a humongous crowd. And I mean, not just like your redneck chicks and stuff like that, like all selling chickens and stuff. Like it brings a very, very huge and large crowd in Williamson County for where we are. And the hope is, again, one of our main focuses is to get outside of our bubble, right? So we did open up the event to be an accessible event to the general public when they are there, and they will see that we're going to be visible and exposed to thousands of people. The crowd that we're going to be in front of that day is going to be thousands and thousands of I don't know how to say this, but Wilson County, where I live and where it is one of the richest counties in America, and the general public there are all filled with higher professionals, where they're CEOs, CFOs of big businesses like Nissan, all of the medical facilities, and also music industry. They all live there. They could be doctors, lawyers, and very big, obviously, farm ranch owners. But it's big money that we're all gonna be in front of. So the hope is that, again, we're gonna be talking about the great things that we do with NFTs generally, like we're all accustomed to. But the hope is, in the really goal of things, is to get these guys involved, get these guys interested of how we can help their business, how they can incorporate NFTs in their operations, whether they're a dental office like my wife, a lawyer, they sell cars, they sell whatever it is, right? Maybe they're a bigger sports or music artists, all of that stuff. So the general public will be involved. To get to my point, though, the only thing, the only people that are going to be privileged to retain any of the merch, any of the goodies, any of the side events, are going to be people that actually buy the ticket and come via the tickets, right? So if you hold those tickets, you're going to be exposed to all those great benefits, all those great perks. We're going to have merch. We're going to have things from all of our other sponsors, and you're going to get much more than what you pay for. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think last year was exactly the same feeling for people that left, but it was a little bit contained to just very niche crowd who was fans or builders of NFTs for the most part. This year is a good opportunity for anyone with any type of crossover into the IRL world to come through. Not even necessarily as a sponsor, but just to buy tickets to come, because last year, one thing we really did a good job with was leaving enough time in the atmosphere for people to kind of mingle and meet face to face, do some networking, make some deals and all of that. Even had somebody come in and display some physical art, which was cool. And I think this year that's going to continue. So again, if you're part of a project or know of a project that's building some kind of apps or some kind of protocol that may not be related to NFTs, this is a good atmosphere to kind of network and cross-pollinate.
You got a serious kind of venue upgrade this year, though. So,
oh man,
a nice little
the venue's crazy. For people that haven't seen the pictures, it's on the website. It's nftnashville.xyz. The old website is gone. The old website was part of a big exploit, so we had to move it to XYZ. But you'll see that the venue is basically like a theater, and there is space for people to chit chat and mingle, and there will be time for that as well. But it's going to be for people that are speaking and looking forward to seeing this stuff kind of recorded and then repurposed and whatnot. It's definitely better for that than our venue last year, which was kind of like a raw all-purpose space. We made the best of it, but this year is going to be quite the upgrade. And Tank was the one that found the place. He lives local. He's the boots on the ground. So this is going to be a surprise for me when I get there.
Actually, I got it. Yes, I do. I live like 5 minutes away from it, but I knew about it. I just never even gave it a second thought because I thought we're never going to get that. We're never going to get it. It's costing too much. One of the things that we did or really tried to focus on last year, but again, of course, this year as well, was to bring a really great event, but be cost effective and be, where we're not, I don't know, I'm trying to walk on eggshells right now, where we're not taking so much, right? As far as what people are getting and what we're giving back. And so we're trying to be savvy with our budget, because in all fairness, even though we did do fairly well with our money management last year, and it did carry over and help us a bit, and we did get a little bit more this year with sponsors and we, with the AA DAO, we are honestly a very small budgeted team. We're in comparison, we're doing this for basically peanuts. So we were really I really didn't think we were going to get it, but Bella and a few others, Eric them had pushed me to go double check with them. And so I went, and lo and behold, I actually had to kind of pull some strings actually to get this date, because it was booked tentatively. And I just asked and bugged this poor lady to death to bump us into that instead of having it sit on another person's schedule. So we did luck out, and we did get a really great venue. Guys, I can't, if anybody's ever gone or been part of a production in a play or musical or anything like that. It's a legit, full-fledged, fully built out audio, visuals, seatings, everything theater. In the background, you're going to have multiple places. If you are going to be a speaker or if you are going to be attending in any kind of capacity, the event in that way, you're going to have a ton of back rooms to kind of prep for. You're going to have a ton of space in the very front, tons of space, obviously, for anybody sitting in the crowd. And it also actually has an, I don't know what it's actually called, a tiered sitting arrangement. So
it's like stadium. It's like stadium seating. It's
yeah. Yep.
With that venue, aside from the speakers, do you guys have any like presentations or like media performance things planned? Maybe Joe's going to come out and do a little hip hop performance.
I get him to line dance. And y'all have never seen Joe line dance.
Oh my God. Expert line dancer. It's very hard to do when you have like 2 beer bottles in your hand, but I'm going to go with nothing in my hand so I can really nail it this time. And then I'll rap a little bit, and then I'll do some Johnny Cash impersonations just to round it out.
I could see you doing a good Johnny. But yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm really excited for it. I just wanted to throw to Maria, who hopped up a little bit ago. I wonder if you had a question or a comment you wanted to say.
No, actually, yes. Like celebrating, I do have tons of respect and love for these 2 people, 3 actually. Yes, yo, don't act like if you're surprised. I'm still loving you. For these people here in the space, I really love what Tang and Joe did last year for NFT Nashville. And let me tell you guys, like coming from the event industry and knowing how much work you have to put behind the scenes, I think it was amazing what they did together, without a huge team, without a lot of people, and doing this like for the community in general, making sure that little artists and also big projects can participate. I think it's amazing. And obviously seeing how much you upgrade, I think it's great. Sad though, I'm not coming, but well, I hope you're gonna stream or something like last year, so I could see it at least. And just giving Archer GoodFellas the lovely welcoming I could give you guys. Really happy to have you here on Stargaze. You know how much I fit with your values. So yeah, I'm just waiting for me, because guess what, Brady? I sent all the whitelists and I forgot to add my Yari, obviously. So yes, here I am waiting for my turn.
I know what that feels like. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks for hopping up. I wonder, Archer, like we're chatting about NFT Nashville. Is there anything you wanted to jump in with? Any thoughts percolating? Maybe not.
I think he's busy handling everybody's addresses. I know I'm messaging him and a bunch of other people.
Classic. Yeah, you got to do a space right as your whitelist goes live, right? So you can just spin in plates. Yeah, that's
that. I did want to kind of elaborate. Sorry, Brady. As far as the live streaming, last year was chaotic for me. And we did live streaming. I'm not playing. I think there's a couple of people, because we do have a heavy list of dare I say creators or influencers.
Can I jump in with this?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I'm minting off a couple tickets specifically to give to content creators who want to come and make content of any kind. It could be shorts. You want to record it, put it on your own channel. Totally fine. I know that Scott's going to do that. Dark Side of the Podcast. He's coming with the heavy equipment. But if you're a content creator or you know one, they're in the area, I'm happy to just give you a ticket if you're going to come do content. I did talk to a couple content creators who just said, no, I'm just going to buy a ticket because I don't want to work. I don't want it to feel like work, but if you want to come and, like I said, do any type of content, whether it's video, audio, written, whatever, you want to just take pictures, put them up on Twitter for your audience, totally fine. Just reach out to me and I'll make sure you don't have to buy a ticket. I'll hook you up with, I got some extras here for the, I'm figuring if we have a half a dozen content creators, I have those tickets ready.
I did want to, I don't know, I just want to say, I don't know who's at my door. I think their main goal is to, like you were saying earlier, Joe, if you have like an NFT collection, or if you're just in this space, I think one of the things that we're just looking for is like our ideal scenario or situation that I think Joe and I both would love to see happen. It's just like buy 2 tickets, give them out to your the people that you think might actually come, or give them out to your 2 people in your community that, you want to reward, or something like that. I think that's like really in our gut, really what we would really like to see happen. It's just
For
like,
sure.
all
Yeah, no, for sure.
together, you might not come, but just buy 2 tickets or like that and give them out to the people that cherish the most in your community.
Or like, obviously we can't promise anything, but one of the reasons why I pushed to do the part of the tickets as NFTs is that we'll be able to do something with those down the road, whether it's airdrops, whether it's discounts off the future events. So even if you're just a DAO, buy a ticket or 2, especially if you've ever done content with Tank or myself. Even if you can't come, to buy the tickets will absolutely guarantee that this happens next year, possibly multiple times. Some years in the future, that's the ideal scenario. And it just helps with us grow the thing, and also start planning from earlier in the year, which would be, massive if we could book this thing in January for November for next year. But yeah, the ticket sales right now are the number one thing, aside from just tying the loose ends for the daily agenda for the November 2nd.
I had a question for from last year. It's just nice to get people in the same space, and to get connected. So I was wondering if anything came out of last year that you guys were really happy to see, maybe folks got connected and did a collaboration after, or anything like that.
I mean, there was definitely discussion between Reese and some of the builders that were there at one point, and although it did fall through, Astrovault was one of our main sponsors last year. They were very close to getting a deal to build a DEX on Juno. Gelato team was there. They've got a slew of apps. Those guys were chatting it up with everyone. I can't think of a specific DeFi deal that went down, but one of the things that stood out was the fact that we had a validators panel, and it was smaller validators. It was not any of the heavy hitters, but they were able to kind of mingle with the artists of the chains that they validate, on Stargaze. And you got to see kind of like the 2 sides of the validators, which you don't often see. Validators are usually associated with governance and only when something bad happens. But there are some validators who are not only building apps, making NFTs, but also trading them. And when I say trade, I mean like degenerate NFT trading, contributing to heavy volume on NFT platforms. So there was that.
I also just want to say, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reply. You're also welcome to hop up if you want to speak. So feel free to just request the mic. I'll give anybody the mic if you want to say hello or ask questions to these guys. I see that Archer jumped down. So I'm assuming he's probably helping out some Solana folks getting used to Stargaze, which is cool. And Joe just disappeared too, which, knowing Joe, it's probably a technical issue. Yeah. So, so it's pretty cool. I'm excited. So you have a limited whitelist that is just for a couple people. So we'll basically see this mint go live tomorrow at 7 UTC.
Yep.
Yeah, right on. So I'm looking forward to grabbing at that point. I got someone, DJ Joey TGA is asking to come up. So I'll invite him up and see if he's got a question. Joey, are you there?
Yes, I think you called me. I switched over from Wi-Fi to my actual cell, so I didn't want to miss anything. I did have a question. I'm a creator. I have minted a few collections on Omniflix, a few others throughout the Cosmos ecosystem. I came into it kind of with the NFT space being kind of shaky with it, not knowing what I could produce. I've been playing with the technology a lot, been going to other ecosystems. I kind of stuck my toe into Solana very recently, Polygon, but this is actually, you guys are the first ones I've even been exposed to as far as an NFT space. Stargaze, back when you guys your gas fees were zero, your APY was super high. I used to be more of the financial side, but you guys have always been this big bear, one-stop shop. You guys know what's going on. Very intimidating. But hearing you guys, I'm so glad I came across the space. I was actually wondering if there is a more one-stop shop of everything that I would need to know from Genesis to your latest advancements on your platform that I could go to. That's little less white papery, a little bit more how to.
Yeah. So for how to, like on the technical side, I updated the docs recently. So we've got a really good like step-by-step guide for launching. Also on anything, if you hop into the Discord and open a ticket, happy to like clarify any details, that kind of thing. Like support for that kind of stuff is not limited to like featured creators, anyone that's looking to launch something, we do our best to explain anything needed. I'll say gas is still zero. APY is much lower. We're out of the, early high inflation period. I'm going to pin it here. I think it'll be hard to find, but Homestead did a really good thread on Sunday. It kind of just went through like the history of Stargaze, a lot of the stuff that the community has kind of gone through from like a market perspective, and covers a lot of what's new, what's coming out feature wise as well. So I'm going to try and grab that. Does that answer your question?
I think it does. It's something where I actually need to sit down and actually, what's so funny is that I had made a decision today to start looking outside the ecosystem, and it's just pure coincidence and luck that I saw your space and I was like, I'm going to hop in. It's been a long time because when I used to hear your spaces last year, pre-established, big name artists in and around the community. As I hear you guys talk, you met some of them. So for me, as someone that I actually came into it, not expecting to call myself a content creator, but as I'm working through this project that I'm trying to do, I am. and it's kind of like, of course, Stargaze. I need to at least try them out, get on a bicycle. If I fall, I fall. If I launch, cool, before I step out of the ecosystem. I guess the one thing, just to hang a bell on it, would be I'm looking for something that, creates the NFT, has all your bells and whistles, and also has the ability to be scalable, which I'm guessing I'm behind the times because I hear you talking to Solana guys. So I've got a lot of reading I got to do tonight.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of functionality that's been added recently. For example, like the real world asset minter was added over the summer. So that's something where for a collection, when you launch it, there's also an ability for people to like make a claim, submit like a address for someone to send something out to them, whether that's like an album or a print, or it's been used by the Sneaky Productions project to send out like plushies. They do these stuffed animals. So that, there's that. We have different kinds of minters now. There's like open editions or limited editions, which is being used for ticketing. In this case with NFT Nashville, there's a 101 minter, which Archer's using to kind of build out a collection over time. That's one where you can keep adding NFTs to it as you do kind of like, seasons of releases or individual releases. So lots of functionality there. Marketplace V2 is just around the corner. It's on testnet right now, which will enable trading on Marketplace in different denominations, as well as like a pretty significant upgrade to the UX. Which I think will improve quality of life for a lot of people that are, using the platform. So yeah, really excited for all that. And, but yeah, if you feel free to like reach out if you have any specific questions, open a support ticket in the Discord, or feel free to send me a DM. And I pinned Homestead's thread in the space, if you want to read that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You guys are doing a great job, and I've never been more excited to read documents before. So thank you guys.
Yeah, right on, man. Thanks a lot for hopping up. If anyone wants to jump up to ask questions, feel free to do so. Just request the mic, and you're welcome. I'll go back to you, Archer. You hopped off for a little bit. I hope it wasn't anything too urgent.
Yeah, no, I think I just got rugged. I was sitting there running my mouth, and then I realized that I was talking to no one. The big experience, right?
Yeah. Suddenly you're just in the shower talking to yourself. 7 hours have gone by.
More than you might think, yeah.
Yeah, totally. So sorry, was there something that you wanted to say that when you got rugged?
I don't remember where I was going with what I was saying. I think you had asked me about NFT Nashville, and the point I was just, rambling on about was just, anytime I see people doing something positive in the space, they don't need to ask for our support. We're there. And I had just mentioned that, Joe had asked us to create some art. So, the answer, of course, is yes. So we're happy to contribute to that and support those guys any way we possibly can. So I think that's all I was saying, if I remember correctly.
Awesome. And maybe, going over the questions that I asked before, is there anything that you wanted to present about your collection or your project that maybe we haven't covered yet?
I don't think so. I mean, I was sort of on like a caffeine high when I was running my mouth earlier, so I probably glossed over a lot of stuff, but hopefully I hit the high points. And, I've said the same thing probably, 6 or 8 times since Friday. And I can't remember, from moment to moment what I haven't or haven't communicated. But I mean, ultimately, the big idea is that we want to make sure that the holders are taken care of, that the collectors are served, and that we're providing value to the marketplace. I think Joe mentioned when he came into the Bitcoin Mint that we had this conversation. He called it an interview. And I do want to just bring this to the forefront because I know there's a lot of creators on this call and a lot of people who are wondering, what needs to happen in terms of building someone who actually cares, or building a group of people who aren't going to just, mint and run, so to speak. When we pulled the artwork back into the world from the black hole of, sort of demise, the first thing that we wanted to do was eliminate the degeneracy. And one of the things and challenges that we see in the marketplace is there's really not a good way to sell. And, people have shill spaces and they have this and that and the other thing, but you're not really talking to a person. You're just talking to a persona out in the ether somewhere. You don't really know what that person's about or who they're going to be, or what they're going to be about once they come into your project. And so there's this desire to build, I think, in founders the world over and creators the world over, whether you're an artist or an entrepreneur, whatever your art is, there's a desire to create and make it good. But this essential skill that you have to do anything is you have to be able to sell. And in this space where people aren't accustomed to doing that, you see people resorting to these sort of underhanded means of promo and hype to get pieces into the marketplace, which is just basically a price distortion in the market. And ultimately we see the collections generally come back, 99% of them fall back to, a penny, basically, because they're going to their true value or their true perceived value in the marketplace. So, if someone wants to build something, and this is what I'm, constantly having conversations with Alex about and people that we work with about, like, we have to find ways to actually connect with people and demonstrate what your value proposition is, and then ask them to choose indirectly rather than sort of soft selling and hoping for the best. Because the truth is, if you're bringing value to market, you shouldn't shy away from that. And, one of the easiest ways to know that you're getting a good person is to just simply have a conversation with them. So when we did that first gated mint, every single, we call them bosses, every single boss that minted a Bitcoin piece, went through that conversation process with Alex or myself before they were able to mint. And because of that, we're able to, sort of rise above a great deal of the degeneracy that was happening on Solana at the time. And, this is one of those things that a lot of people would look at and say, well, you have a small community and you're going really slow, and ego steps in and it's like, well, I really need to hire an influencer to push this thing along, and I really need to go faster and this and that and the other thing. But the truth is, if we did that, then we would basically be hypocritical in that we have basically renounced all of our value system. So I just challenge every person, like, whatever it is that you're building, like, decide what your values are and what you want to bring to market, and stand in the fire of that no matter what happens, no matter how slow or fast you go, and just trust that over time you can build something great. So, I mean, I guess if I had to sort of sum up what we've done to get to where we are over the last year or so, that would be pretty much it. It's just basically putting in the effort to find good people and not shying away from those sales conversations and calling people out or calling people in when we see, good and bad efforts in the marketplace.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, it comes down to like a proactive versus reactive approach to your project where, whatever your niche might be, sticking with that plan, not kind of going, reacting too much to whatever the market is or whatever other people are doing, and sort of like betraying the model that you're going for, right? Because it's tempting, I think, sometimes. So that's really cool to hear. And I appreciate also, I know you've done a ton of spaces this week. It's very typical, when you're doing a mint, have to do the whole circuit. So I listened to that space you did with Matt on Multi-Chain Man yesterday. That was really interesting, and I'm glad you still have some breath for today. I see Tank, you got your hand up. I'm not sure if you wanted to add something.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's kind of been a minute, but I just kind of want to go back to what DJ was talking about because he inspired me to make content again. I've kind of lost that inspiration, and I just want to say thank you. That's such a great idea. I'm going to make a video trying to detail out and show people how Stargaze functions, how easy it is to actually put a whatever project you're trying to put out. I know there's several different ways, but that's I think a great need that's out there and something that could be simply fixed. So we're going to do that pretty quickly. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is what Archer was saying. Like, yeah, man, I that resonates so much with me. I think a lot of people are just fall victim to the peer pressure of what success is or what the definition might look like in any kind of platform. Doesn't matter what environment they're in or what ecosystem, dare I say, they're in. Everybody always seems to fall for that rat race. But I like what you guys are doing, man, and I really hope that people are also resonating with that kind of push or that kind of effort because that's really where you're going to find like real community, real supporters. And we've seen examples of that with other Stargaze, not just Stargaze, but other projects that have done similar things. And those projects they're still around. They're still innovating. They're still pushing, right? So I love that. But I want to say that, I got one of those plushies for my youngest son from Sneaky, and it's legit, dude. So if anybody's sleeping on that, I'm telling you right now, that stuff was quality and it's cute. It's kind of weird. But I love it, man. And my kid loved it. So
that's sweet. Which one did you get? Did you get the pig?
They got the pig. Yeah, he got the pig.
The OG. On that for the content, I created like a workshop basically for launching on Studio. I've done it in Discord. What I'd really love to do is I don't know if you'd be interested if you were thinking about doing some content around that. It'd be cool to do 2 people on it. Because it's nice to like bounce off someone for like, kind of questions as they arise and like just go through the steps, launch. I think you could even do a little limited collection that's like a free mint. And you just do the whitelist for all the people who are watching and just do it as like a little kind of proof of participation sort of thing. Not a badge, but everyone just gets a fun little drop for watching the stream and grabbing a whitelist at the time. I think that'd be really cool. If you wanted to, I'd be really into partnering up on that.
Let's do it.
Sweet. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention for with regards to DJ, your questions. We had a good space on Tuesday that was like on gaming and NFT-fi. Gelato was there as well as Deploy Dawn, Pixel Wizards, and Atlas DAO, and it was a really good overview of like some of the people, independent developers that are building D apps that are on Stargaze as well as across the eco, and that's stuff like Gelato has a platform that's similar to like Pump It. It's called pampit.fun. It's like a token fair launch platform.
Later on with that, I do believe. Is there a source where, aside from like Twitter Spaces recordings, where I might find an archive of all that?
What we have, we do have, if you click on apps on the Stargaze website, we try to get a good catalog there of all the different D apps that are launched on the chain. So that's there. As far as something that includes like additional information about it, we don't have that, honestly, like that well cataloged. It's kind of like you got to look at each project and follow their Twitter or however they're communicating. But that is probably something that we should try and get together, or maybe do a thread or an article.
No, that's good. Sorry, my voice is hoarse. Like, I'm kind of a one-man band. I don't really have like a team or devs or anyone else like that. So it's kind of just me talking in spaces, and I've been talking for, I want to say 9 hours. Like, I even have to like try to compose myself while also like commenting, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have someone that is basically vetting what I comment. I like have a typo in it. So like, trust me, I'm listening to all of this literally in the back of my mind. I try to scribble down as much as I can because there's only so many hours in a day, but I do appreciate you guys. I don't know why I was so, I wouldn't say afraid. I wouldn't even say intimidated. I just always thought I wasn't there yet. I've been in the crypto space for about 2 years. My background is nothing. It's basically DJing and bartending, hence my handle. But I've taught myself 100%. It's been me late at night, whenever the rest of the world is doing crypto space, because I'm here in the United States. It's not really, it's still the B word and the C word. Blockchain and crypto are still bad words in my area, which is the southeast part of the United States. Not that it's bad word. People just look at me like I'm selling magic beans. But I do understand its functionality. It's spoken to me. It works. The science, the math, the community, it all fits. But it's just, it's me as the drummer playing the harmonica, tap dancing and trying to sing at the same time. So anywhere you guys can lead me that isn't a scam, or I don't have to connect a wallet or anything like that, makes it so much better. And I never thought I'd have the chance to be able to speak up on the virtual dais with the rest of you guys. Like, you guys hit the ball rolling. I remember whenever you guys did your launch, and I just have been following you guys. You guys have been just this colossal, great mechanism for the community, that it has been just something that you just sit back and watch. Like you're watching like a brand new up and coming Hollywood starlet as she goes from like her debut role to winning her 10th Oscar. So thank you guys for answering my questions.
Yeah, for sure, man. You're always welcome. I do a Friday space as well. That's kind of like a creator lounge. So you're always, I'd recommend maybe joining that if you're like looking for people to collaborate with or hear from experiences directly, from people that are like creating on the platform and, pros and cons or challenges they deal with and that sort of thing. I think it's a good information source. Tank, I think you have your hand up again, or maybe it's a display thing for me.
No, it's a delay. Sorry.
No worries. But yeah, it's great. I think we'll probably wrap up. We usually kind of keep this to under an hour and a half. I wanted to throw to Tank first to see if any kind of last words you want to say on NFT Nashville.
It's going to be fun. And if you guys can't make it, again, we would absolutely love it if you guys would support us by buying one of the NFTs, buying one of the tickets. Doesn't matter where you guys buy them from. Share the word. Let people know. If you guys are here in the South and it's not that far, I would strongly recommend coming to the live event. It's one of the few ones, especially if you're a Cosmos native, right? It's one of the few ones that are actually available for us here in the United States. But if you guys are just, really just want to stay in your lane, you guys are NFT people, you guys are Stargaze people. Again, this was all started because Stargaze took a chance with us and got the ball rolling with us. So again, shout out to Stargaze, shout out to the rest of our sponsors as well. Shout out to everybody that's been in the Stargaze community. We love you guys to death. I hope to see you guys at the event, but if anything, get one of those NFTs.
Great. And Archer, any final words from you?
Yeah, just thanks for having me up, man. I appreciate all the help, support, all of the people reaching out, all the people minting. It looks like we're a little over halfway done. So if you guys want to jump on the whitelist, let me know. Obviously, everyone here is quality people, and we'd be happy to have you join in the community. And appreciate every single person who sent messages, who has jumped in Discord, who has answered questions. Brady, thanks for, indulging me on the weekend when we've had our little technical conversations. And aside from that, guys, we're happy to be here. And we're looking forward to continuing to build in the space.
Great. Thank you so much for everyone joining. If you listened, thanks, DJ, for coming up with some questions and comments as well. Hope everybody has a good day. And if you need any support or anything, open the ticket in the Discord. Don't answer any DMs that might show up. Or respond to any random links. It's great. We're here to support creators. That's what drives the platform ultimately, I think, is a good creator support network on it. So thank you so much, everybody, and I hope you have a great day.